live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports. We hope that you guys are making it a good one. We know that we are as well. Huge show in store for you tonight. We got some pissed off Saints fans, man. We got some pissed off Saints fans. I know. We talk a lot of LSU. We will talk some Saints here tonight as well, as CJ Gardner-Johnson has been traded to the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. I'm going to open up the show. Give me 5 minutes to talk about CJ Gardner-Johnson, and we'll get through it. But if you miss it and you're a Saints fan, CJ Gardner-Johnson did get traded. A lot of people upset. You know, CJ was a very big fan favorite. I'm going to tell you why it's not that big of a deal. You know, I don't think it was that big of a deal. Nor do I think it's that very big of a deal. I know a lot of people are mad and all this kind of stuff, and people talking about off the field stuff, but we'll talk about all about that. Just give me 5 minutes to start the show. We'll talk about CJ Gardner-Johnson. LSU takes the advantage. We got to speak to, or I say we, but LSU named their team captains today, and we, as the media, got to speak to B.J. Ojulari, Ali Gay, and I think our good buddy who has been joining us. He will be joining us again very soon. We're trying to get him this week. We'll see. But I'll always, Mike Jones Jr., who will be trying to join us this week. We hope to get him. Said some interesting things. I still think that they're going to run out Jayden Daniels, but both quarterbacks allegedly are still taking reps at practice. It seems as if they ran those young men out there and told them to say that. But nevertheless, we'll get into that as well. I think they're going to take advantage of this one specific area outside of the wide receiver core. We'll give you some positives and some cons, some things that I think LSU's got to pay attention for, hearing some things coming outside of Florida State. So we'll get into all of that as well. We'll get to Ruffino's rants as well. I got something I got to get off my chest. And I'm not talking about my breast. Yeah, I could do some bench press. I get some bench press reps. Anyway, as we do every Tuesdays and Thursdays, hashtag Ask Blake. So you have a question, thought, concern, fire them inside the Rudy Crew chat, and we'll get to as many of them as we can. And former LSU quarterback Josh Booty will be joining us at 7:30. Looking forward to talking to him. What does he think about Brian Kelly, this LSU football team, and moving forward? It's going to be really fun to talk and recap with our good friend Josh Booty. So a lot to get in store, or a lot to get to here tonight. Looking forward to all of it. But let's get to a couple comments, though, before we do get started. Lars Corville says, why didn't Brian Kelly respond to Lou Holtz's 9 Quill and Inkwell handwritten letters? Who gives a shit? That, Lars, I got to be honest. So part of my rant, then you had the quarterback at Boston College getting mad. Brian Kelly apparently lied to him or something. I mean, come on, man. Well, your only suitor was Boston College, my guy. So, Zach, find the guy's name from Boston College, the quarterback who talked about Brian Kelly, please. His name's slipping my mind, and I don't feel like changing or flipping my page over from my notes. So let's find this guy from Boston College who was ripping on Brian Kelly. Kelly says, let's go, Blake. Let's go, Kelly. Kim says, let's go another game closer to game day. Absolutely. Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Wade McBride says, one day closer, hashtag boo to the Saints. Absolutely that as well. But I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think a lot of people are making it a little bit bigger of a deal than it needed to be. CJ, we'll talk about it. We'll spend 5 minutes to start the show off with it. I promise you. Keaton says, man, I watched the BK interview with Emily Dixon and I saw the snippets from LSU tackling. That defense is definitely ready. Penn, Ojulari are flying around. So apparently Keaton is going to go based off of snippets, and he's not going to take what we've said being at the entire scrimmages in practice. So he saw a 2-second clip, and that's what he knows. Keaton, don't let a highlight film rile you up, dude. Don't let it do it, but I still think that they'll be fine. I still think that they'll be fine. Kyle Farmer says, let's go. So does Drew. Drew says, let's go. Chris says, I'm the GOAT. Chris, you need to grow up a little bit, dog. Your takes is a Duke of water. By the way, speaking of Chris, I don't know, Pooh Bear, if I can. Pooh Bear says, yeah, you a Billy Goat. Yeah, he eats everything. Actually, I'm not going to say that. I think I'm going to let Pooh Bear announce all that stuff. I'll let him answer all that stuff. Carol Fall says CJ got in TB12's head. Now he's going to go for a 5th or 6th round. We were robbed. Then we gave back a 7th pick. It's true. It's true. Preston Guy from TigerBay.com says Blake is too late to ask for a ketchup packs and a washing machine for CJ Gardner-Johnson. Yeah, my analogy today was he went for a packet of ketchup and a Philly cheesesteak. I mean, because it's true. He went for a Philly cheesesteak. I don't like to trade, but I understand it. We'll talk about this, and we'll talk about some of the stuff with him off the field as well. Tony says quarterback Phil Jakovic was the guy. That's it. Phil Jakovic. What an absolute Rudy Poo. Oh, he told my mommy and daddy that I would play as a freshman. Who? Come on, dog. That's what's wrong with our society a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, oh, like we don't want to work for anything, man. Like I didn't have to do 300 straight episodes before we started getting 100 people in this chat live and in living color every single night. You got to actually work for something. Insane. Rick says, hashtag Ask Blake, I think Jaden leads the team in rushing on Sunday. Do you agree? I think it's a very strong possibility, Rick. I think it's a very, 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 very strong possibility. I could see it. Orgy, I'm not, God, he got me again. I'm not saying this name. I think that's Dylan, so we'll go with Dylan. He says, smash that MF like button. Yes, everybody hit the like button, so we'll transition into that. Everybody do us a favor and we can get started. Everybody do us a favor. Hit the like and share. So many of you guys are watching this live right now on Facebook. Hit the like and share. Share to all of those social media groups. Share to all of those social media pages. If you're listening to us on YouTube, hit the like and share as well. Also, subscribe. Hit the notification bell. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. If you're listening to us on XM Radio or you're listening to us on the TuneIn app, we greatly, greatly appreciate you doing that and joining us anywhere you listen to podcasts as well. Rate, review, and subscribe. And as always, go to our AYSSnetwork.com message board. We're so close to hitting that 300 mark. Do us a favor. Go subscribe today. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. Okay, let's do this. We do have a lot to get to. I'm going to get to CJ Gardner-Johnson stuff. Guys, give me 5 minutes, and I got some stuff about LSU that we got to talk about, and Rufino's rants as well. So let's pay these bills, and let's get started. None better than our good friends over at GM Barno & Sons and betonline.ag. Guys, we return in 1 minute. Talk CJ and LSU. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag. With over 65 years of experience, nobody is better equipped to service in your vehicle than GM Vardo & Sons. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, routine maintenance, tire rotations, tire sales. No job is too big or too small over at GM. If you break down the side of the road in the greater Baton Rouge area, they will come and get you. And the best thing about that is that they can come and get you, and then they can bring your vehicle back to their shop and start the repairs right then. Again, GM Varno & Sons. Go see them over at 2500 Fuller Boulevard. Give them a call at 225-664-9992. 225-664-9992. Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffino sent you on by. I can tell that all of you guys are so ready in chat. Man, you guys, you don't have to fight with one another. Don't let Pooh Bear, get your co-host. Everywhere Chris goes, the people start fighting. I don't know what it is. I would love to see what happens when Chris goes to the barbershop. Now, he only does that once every 6 months. Have you seen his hairline? I mean, so I'm sure it would be comical and he'd be there for a while. I heard that they had to use a chainsaw to cut his hair. Everywhere he goes, man. Everywhere he goes. Anyway, I'm just messing with Chris. All right, everybody do us a favor. Let's get this thing rolling, y'all. Let's get this thing started, y'all. And everybody hits the like and share. But let me say this. I'm not going to spend long on this CJ Gardner-Johnson stuff. Give me the 5 minutes. Give me the 5 minutes. If you missed it and you're just joining us, CJ Gardner-Johnson was traded to the Philadelphia Eagles. A lot of people upset with it. A lot of people angry with it. Guys, I'm here to tell you, they were shopping CJ Gardner-Johnson for a while now. They have been shopping CJ Gardner-Johnson for some time. And there wasn't a lot of suitors. He would miss camp some days. He was in and out, doing the signs, wanting to be traded or given a new contract. The Saints wanted to sign him for $9 million a year. He wanted 13. He wanted to be paid like a corner and not a safety. Whatever. They weren't going to meet in the middle. It's fine. It's why you go out and get Tyrann Mathieu, Marcus May, all this kind of stuff. There's one big thing I want to hit on, though, very quickly. There have been people that, on both sides, either defending him or wanting him to leave, talking about CJ Gardner-Johnson. He's a fan favorite. I get it. Guys, let me tell you this. I don't mind players talking if they can back it up. And there were times that CJ Gardner-Johnson backed up his play. Sometimes he didn't. He's infamously known for the Tom Brady folding of the arms, getting in a fight with Mooney from the Chicago Bears. There's a lot of things that CJ Gardner-Johnson's known for. One thing he's not known for is making immaculate plays to win you football games. He's a good player. He's a really good player. But let me say this. I know of some situations that I will not address here. It's for somebody else. They can address it. I'm not going to. There are people that I know very good in this business and people that have seen firsthand that CJ Gardner-Johnson had some issues off the field. I trust them wholeheartedly. I've known them for a long time. They wouldn't lie about something like that. Nothing was ever reported, never ever really needed to be reported, right? But I want to say this too. Just because CJ Gardner-Johnson had some incidents, maybe with police or civilians, and there was a lot of chirping back and forth, things going on Twitter, things he was doing on 7-on-7 camp. Don't make that the reason why the Saints traded him to Philadelphia. That's not the reason why they traded him to Philadelphia. Him being a locker room problem was not the reason why he got traded. You know how I know the Saints didn't really give two Rudy Poos about CJ Gardner-Johnson and him in the locker room? Because, guys, they cleared space to go after Deshaun Watson. They moved heaven and earth to try to sign and trade Deshaun Watson for Deshaun Watson, whose owner is a woman. If you don't know what's going on with Deshaun Watson, I suggest after the show, you pick it up and you type in Deshaun Watson civil case. This has everything to do with money, everything to do with value, and nothing to do with off-the-field incidents. You can't justify to me, and don't say, well, Blake, Deshaun Watson's a quarterback. Yeah, he's a quarterback, and he's a damn good one. He's a really damn good quarterback. 27 sexual assault civil cases or however many it was. I know he's only down like 2, 3, or 4, whatever it is. I get all of that. But there's 27 accusations. 24 of them were either unfounded or whatever the case was, or he settled with them. I don't know. You went after Deshaun Watson in a trade, so don't talk about this guy being a locker room problem. Majority of you have never been in the in a locker room before. And some of you that are in locker rooms or in them, they call you meat watchers. That's what it is. That's a term that's very well known in locker rooms, in college, NFL. I'm not making, and it's not a joke. Like, I know that you guys think I'm joking. I'm not joking. They call you meat watchers. Put 2 and 2 together. I'm not worried about it. Okay. I don't know how people reacted to this. I know Chris had something to say. I'm not reading it. He can talk about it on the show tomorrow. But Keaton says, has the media had more than 30 minutes of you practice since Jordy messed up everything? Yeah, we watched the entire scrimmage. 2 of them. Don't let Keaton, don't let a clip show you. Guys, this is what the most funniest thing to me. So let's talk some LSU. Here's what's very funny to me. When we talk to you guys about the quarterback position on this show, when we talk to you about other position groups, we're not, I don't, what part of me saying, guys, and I'm talking to the producers here, I don't know how much I have to say it. Guys, I don't give 2 Rudy Poos who starts Sunday. I don't care. Who's going to win us the game? I might have an opinion on why one of them may lead us to winning the game more than the other. That's not me pushing for that person. I don't care. I think both of them can win you the football game. I think that there's more unknowns about Garrett Nussmeier than there is Jane Daniels. Jane Daniels has 29 consecutive starts in college football. That's how I know what I'm going to get more. I'm going to get more from him. I've seen it. I've seen it beat Florida State in a bowl game. Don't argue us when we've been there. Jesus, H. Mary and Joseph. Whew. Y'all be getting me sometimes. Country Granger says it's not that we traded him. It's what we got in the trade. Guys, I know you got a 5th round pick. I know we got a 5th round pick. That doesn't bother me at all. Either you're going to get something for him now and he's going to play the season. He'll be fine. I don't think CJ Gardner-Johnson is winning or losing you a Super Bowl. Okay? Get something for CJ Gardner-Johnson and be done with it. He's not a cornerstone piece for you winning a Super Bowl or for you to get to the playoff. He's not. The Saints would have loved something more than a 5th round pick. They shopped him. That's the value. That is the current market value for him. It's better to get something than nothing. Aunt Marshall says the reports about him not taking coaches or maybe talking to coaches are what I'm referring to. If it was just money, they'd let him play this year. Yeah, maybe. I just think it's more about money than him being an off the field issue. All right, a couple more of these comments and we'll get rolling. Traquan. Where's Sergio when you need him? Isn't it Sergio? I forget that kid's name. He says Mike Norvell looked and sounded hella nervous during his press conference. I agree. I completely agree with that statement. But I do think this is why he's nervous. Because I think that there's more than one position than wide receiver for LSU that LSU is going to take advantage of. Guys, I went back and watched the game today. And you know what's something about Florida State that's very interesting to me? I know that a lot last night we talked about the wide receiver position and LSU obviously going to be able to beat their corners on the outside. I do wonder how much, and I know that Rick talked about this earlier, okay? I do wonder how much LSU is going to run the quarterback. Because the multiple times that Duquesne had their quarterback get outside the pocket, it was wide open. We saw multiple runs. We saw him being able to do things in space. Guys, that's a lot of what Jane Daniels, and they want Jane Daniels to do in the first place. if you can get runs to go to the outside, if you can get Jaden or Nuss outside the pocket, I think that's going to be a huge advantage for LSU. I was thinking about it, and then I went back and watched LSU versus UCLA from a season ago. It's the same issues that we had. What's funny is that I think that LSU has a lot more talent than what Florida State does. I think we have the better receiving core. I think that you can make the argument that we have the better offensive line. I can make the argument that we have the better quarterback room. I can make the argument we have the better defensive line, linebackers, DBs. I'm going to give running backs to them. I'm going to give the head coaching nod and coordinators to us. There's a lot of things that LSU bodes well here in. But when you watch them on film, LSU, from a season ago and some of the players and some of the things that we've seen, obviously they will change this season. But when you watch Florida State week 1, it's like there are a lesser talented LSU right now. From what we've seen with LSU being a discipline with the defensive line in the front 7, what we've seen from LSU sometimes in the running game when you have Ty Davis-Price with a counter play going for over 200 yards and breaking a record. It's like Florida State's the great value Walmart brand of LSU. Like the great value version. When your mama used to go to Winn-Dixie and you were like, Mama, I want a 12-pack of Coca-Colas, and she slaps your ass upside the head and she says, baby, you getting check. I know good and damn well a lot of y'all grew up on check. Mr. Pibb. That's what Florida State is. You're the filet mignon in this situation. I think LSU's got to attack Florida State on the perimeter. I think Sam's choice, that's a good one, Pooh. You got to go to Costco, right? The Kirkland's brand. You got to get a $1 glizzy. You can't leave without a $1 glizzy. Hey, hold on. Hold on very quickly. To deviate for just 1 second. Did y'all see that Costco is selling Florida Gator tickets? If you buy one glizzy, which if you don't know what a glizzy is, it's a hot dog. That's what the kids call it these days. It's a glizzy. But if you buy a $1 hot dog and like a Coca-Cola, you can get free ticket or you can get tickets or something like that. Florida, you got to go to Costco and buy a glizzy to go to the game. And y'all think y'all are on par with LSU. Hey, man, how did you get to the game? I went to Costco and bought me a glizzy. Like, how do you even start that conversation off? PaulsHub.com. Hey. Anyway, I think LSU's got to attack Florida State on the perimeter. I think if they can do that effectively, if they can do some of the things that we saw this fall camp, getting Jaden outside the pocket, making him decide, and even cutting a half of the field off, right? Like that's what they were doing a lot for Jaden during fall. During this August camp, they were making Jaden have 2 or 3 options, and if those options aren't open, see ya. Get out of there. It was then when Jaden started gaining confidence that he was sitting in the pocket and really just lighting LSU up. Another thing, too, I don't know, and Brian Kelly talked about this, and I don't think Brian Kelly's lying to us. He's so good at saying, and Aunt Marshall in the comments said this, he's so good with saying so many things while hiding things, too. He talked about putting Kayshon Boutte in the slot. Bingo, bam, boom, blah, hoo, hoo. That makes Florida State have to really prepare for Kayshon Boutte to be in the slot. Guys, if Kayshon's in the slot, Florida State's going to have a long day. Florida State's going to have a really long day. The more and more I look more into this Florida State defense, the more the more confident I become. Now, I worry about their offense. Again, they rushed for 400 yards. I want to see what our defense does. And look, we might be sitting here in postgame, and the first thing that I say when I come out here is this. Guys, I was dead wrong. It went the complete opposite of the way that I thought it was going to go. But that if Duquesne had any remnants of any particular type of athlete, they would have dominated that football game because Florida State looked like they didn't give a shit sometimes to be there. Their front line did. Linebackers, yeah. And I forget the young man from Florida State. But today it was announced when Mark Norvell was speaking. And there's a lot of things coming out of here, like the Trey Benson thing, like one of Florida State. And I don't even know how you even report this, but Trey Benson on Florida State team says he almost had an anxiety attack before the Duquesne game, which, guys, I used to have them all the time. I used to, excuse me for saying this, but I used to, throw up before every game. But I forget the young man who's going to be out, the linebacker. So somebody can find that for us too. But they have a couple of injuries already. Guys that aren't going to play. I'm starting to gain more confidence. I'm gaining more confidence in our game plan. Now, BJ Ojulari and Ali Gay spoke with the media today. And they talked about both quarterbacks were taking team reps. Well, guys, let me tell you something. I kind of hope they're not. I mean, I kind of hope that they are. I hope Garrett, if he's the guy that Jaden's taking 1 or 2 snaps, 3 snaps, if Jaden is the guy that's going to run out there first, I hope Garrett's getting some snaps too. But I kind of want my first team guy running with majority of the first team. And I think that's what's going on. I think that they're just protecting their team with those both guys. And the media asking them that is completely insane to me because they're not going to give it to you. They're not going to give it to you. Anyway. All right, I'm going to get to a couple comments in just a minute. Josh Booty, former LSU quarterback Josh Booty's set to join us here very, very shortly. I do want to get to this Ruffino's rants, though. I do want to get to this Ruffino's rants because I don't know if y'all saw this, but is it just me? Pooh, and I tell Pooh Bear and Zach this all the time. Sometimes maybe I feel as if that I'm coming out here and I'm ranting too much. Like, is Blake making a bigger deal out of things than he ought not to? Did y'all see this thing from that quarterback Djokovic that committed and went to Notre Dame and then transferred, now is at Boston College? I think 247 or On 3, one of those sites ran this article about former Notre Dame quarterback saying that Brian Kelly lied to his mama and daddy. Well, let me just tell you something. When you start peeling the onion back and letting media members know stuff like that, Brian Kelly lied to me, it's kind of an industry no-no. You don't do that. I do find it a little bit comical, though. I do find it a little bit comical that there's still more things coming out about Brian Kelly here, right? Like more garbage, more trash. And y'all keep asking me why Florida State might be the biggest game on our schedule. Guys, we got to go out there and make a statement. It's like, I'll never forget this. And the last thing, and we'll get to Josh Booty. But I remember, I think it was the World Series game 1. Roger Clemens was on the mound. And I forget who was hitting. I want to say it was like Jason Varitek. And Roger Clemens goes up to the mound and screams at Varitek. No, it wouldn't have been. Yeah, I think it was. I think it was Houston, maybe. I forget. But Roger Clemens is screaming, hey, here comes a fastball. See if you can hit it. I kind of want LSU to take that mentality. Like, hey, bro, I'm a dog. I got the dog in me. Can you stop it? Brian Kelly's got to get him and his team there. I said this last night. It's so crazy how much LSU and Brian Kelly feel to be on a parallel system to try to get back to an SEC title, to try to get back to a national title and win it. The man hasn't played a game, and they're trying to crap on him every chance that they can get. Anyway, Jordan did say, he sent us a super chat, $4.99. Thank you. He says, hot dog Jordan Travis is good. Better QB play wins. Hopefully we get Jaden to the outside. I agree. Okay. The man who was the quarterback from the 99 to the 2000, Josh Booty, former LSU quarterback Josh Booty, is going to be joining us here. But let's do this very first. Let's pay these bills around this thing. We got to keep the lights on. Pooh Bear said he wants to go skiing in Aspen. I mean, man, these guys, man. Zach says, hey, Mr. Blake, I want to go to Tahiti. You know, you keep your producers around. They be asking for stuff. Pooh Bear never asks for stuff. It's always Zach. Hey, Mr. Blake, can I take another vacation? Sad. So let's pay these bills. No better than our good friends over at Grahamco, thegrahamco.com. Guys, we'll be back literally in 1 minute with your quarterback, your former quarterback, Josh Booty. Stay tuned. Guys, I've got to talk to you about our good friends over at Grahamco. They are the Delta 8 company based out of the state of Florida. They're founded by college football junkies just like you and I am not sure if you're familiar with Delta 8, but you need to be. Grahamco is the absolute leader in this field, and they have phenomenal products that I just need to tell you about. First off is the Wake and Bake coffee that is absolutely spectacular. The gummies are as well, as they're the best in the market. So go to thegrahamco.com right now and use the promo code AYS25. That's thegrahamco.com, AYS25 promo code to get 25% off of your order. Jump on this fast as it is perfect for holidays, anniversaries, and everyday use. Grahamco is hemp-derived and completely legal inside of the state of Louisiana. No medical card is needed, and shipping is very discreet. You must be 21 years older to order. Again, that's thegrahamco.com. Use that promo code AYS25. All right, we are here and joined with former LSU quarterback from the 99 to the 2000s, Josh Booty. My friend, what's up, buddy?
What's happening, Big Blake? How you doing, baby?
Oh, man, just ready for football to kick off, Josh. That's me. You know, and I know that you have something that you're going to want to share with us and our listeners. We'll do that at the end if that is okay. Beautiful. But football's back, baby. We got football. So, Josh, I got to ask you, man, when you're a young quarterback, and it might either be your first time really playing in a game or it might be a new season, how do you mentally get into the rhythm when you have so many things on social media or whatever it might be? Like, how do you just drain all of that out and focus on the game during game week?
I think practice is so crucial, to practice with immense speed and and be deliberate with everything like you're going through a game. I think that's what Saban does so well, is he makes practice so tough and challenging on his players, and there's such a competition or a competitive environment. I think the more you can practice like it's a game setting, I think the better. So you don't go through the motions, you don't try to relax or save your legs. It's, they know how to do that as a staff, as a conditioning staff and everything, to know when to pull back a little bit before game day, the day or two before. I think you got to practice as if it's, you're playing in the game every day. I think that's the mentality that you got to take. I think that's I've got stories on stories, like Reggie Bush at USC. When my brother was there at SC, I went and watched him practice a ton because I was just coming out of the league. Kiffin and Sarkisian were there with Pete Carroll. Orgeron was there. It was a fiery, competitive environment, much like Saban's practices were. And I saw Reggie participate first day his freshman year in practice, because John David, my brother, was roommates and in the same class coming in, the same recruiting class. And I'm like, this kid is special, because every time he got the ball, it was like it was a bottle of lightning. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he would catch it or he would make a move, and even in run drills, and he would go, if they were on the opposite side of the field from the end zone doing run drills, he would run all the way 70 yards, and it wasn't a jog. It was all out sprint, and he wanted to get to the end zone, and everybody was like, whoa, this is a different type of practice. I mean, these guys, they know how to win. They knew how to prepare. And then Reggie had that edge that was just like the whole team took notice. And that was the first day his freshman year. And I was like, wow. But I think that's how players, and I've got twin boys who play up at Evangel Christian in Shreveport.
Yeah, you do.
I said practice as if it's game every day. Don't take one play off, because when you get old like me, there's only one guy, Brady, that's still doing it, right? And it's like that guy understood how important it was to practice, and practice is practice. The Iverson deal is so funny, but does mean everything in football, because those reps are so important. And I think going into the first week, that's as close as you can get to the game as practice. So speed it up.
I do want to ask you some LSU stuff, but I thought you brought up an interesting point being out there in USC with your brother and seeing Reggie Bush. We had Lindell White on about I don't know, Pooh, about a month ago, and he said the same thing. So I do got to ask you. You see Orgeron coming to LSU, obviously wins a national title. You see Lane Kiffin, he's now at Ole Miss. He was at Alabama. We know the Kiffin story. You have Sarkisian that is now at Texas. He's got a quarterback commit from New Orleans and Arch Manning. When you look at college football now and some of the things that you saw back then, either when you were playing or when your brothers were playing, whatever it may be, do you look back and just be like, man, so much has changed in what's really just a small amount of time?
It really has. JD started 2 years for Pete Carroll in that era with Sarkisian. Right. JD was never in the shotgun, not one down at SC, and no one, thinks about stuff like that. But as I'm watching, past film, I'm like, JD was under center. Well, in high school, he was never under center. He was in the shotgun at Evangel with 5 wide. So he didn't get to run the offense that he had, been accustomed to his whole life. So if there's changing periods now with RPO, it's like, it's Denbrock, the coordinator now at LSU. He was with Desmond Ritter, and they know how to run the RPO. That's right. Why Cincinnati's offense was so awesome, is because it's a run pass option. It's read option. It was, the spread. It's like they throw all this stuff at you. And it's like, that's why Alabama's so effective now. If Saban was still doing the ground and pound, he wouldn't be winning the national championship, because he can't recruit receivers that way. So you have to adapt to what's going on in college football. He adapted well, and he's continued that success, because it's like Joe Burrow and Brady at LSU. It's like when Brady showed up and they ran the spread, and Joe Burrow understood what he was doing because he was with Urban Meyer and Ryan Day up at Ohio State, and understood, how to run that type of offense with, 5 wides and RPO stuff. It translated perfect into what Brady was wanting to do when he came from New Orleans, and it just fit. It's like, right. But teams don't win championships nowadays without having that in the arsenal. It's Ohio State. It's, Chip Kelly in Oregon was doing it 10, 12 years ago. They were the first to really do it on the main stage with the speed and the up tempo. And then everybody said, we got to do that now with athletes like LSU can put on the field, or Alabama can put on the field, or Ohio State puts on the field. Watch out. It's unbelievable.
You say that, and it just, I always feel like, what would your brother, or what would Reggie, or what would any of these guys in today's offenses look like? Like you talked about, he was in the shotgun 5 wide, and then he was under center. He never took a play in the shotgun. That's kind of the things that I wish we could have seen. But
you're right, and I love that point. It's like, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson in the NBA, because it's spacing. Those guys can shoot the rock. Reggie would make people miss in a phone booth. Now playing in space, think about how sweet he would have been in college if you'd had the 4 wides and him in the backfield, or him motioning out and getting it to him like Sean Payton did a few times. I mean, shoot, he had 100 catches in the NFL for Sean Payton. Right. Catching the ball near like that. He had screens and gadgets, and they run reverses with him at SC, but it wasn't wide open. I think the game has changed in the NBA just like it has in college football and in the NFL. That it's all trickling up, and now these young kids can play early on in their career in the NFL, because it's a lot of RPO stuff, keeps a lot of that defensive stuff off of you early in your career, so you can handle it, as a quarterback.
You mentioned Mike Denbrock, the new offensive coordinator. I'll start with him, and then we'll just get to LSU in general. You talked about the RPO and Desmond Ritter. Now, we saw as college football fans Desmond Ritter progress through a Mike Denbrock system. What is something, and you alluded to it earlier, is there something that you see from Mike Denbrock that kind of gets you fired up for LSU in this offense?
I do. He lets his athletes play, and I think that's a big part of today's offensive world, and production and scoring points and being up tempo. But it's like that they play to their strengths, right? A good coach nowadays, you have to play to your strengths because you might have a tight end heavy room one year, and you might have a wide receiver heavy room one year, and you might have a Heisman Trophy candidate at tailback one year, and you might not the next. You might lose him. It's like Fournette, or someone like that. But
Right.
I think the play action helps, the RPO helps, the up tempo helps, an athletic quarterback helps, but you got to be able to complete balls on first down. If you take chances or you want to throw the ball on first down, you've got to complete balls. So an accurate quarterback, and Desmond was that, he can do a little bit of everything. I mean, he's an NFL guy, and even if he's a backup, it doesn't matter. He's an NFL player playing that position at quarterback last year for Cincinnati. And he could run with the football. And I think when you have that dynamic of an athlete, and Saban will tell you, Venables will tell you, all the great defensive coordinator, Pete Carroll will tell you, Vince Young beat him up. A quarterback that can run and make plays is so hard. It's like dealing with Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson. It's so hard to contend with. So if we have a guy like that can run and throw, that's going to be – Joe Burrow he liked to throw the ball downfield, but he could get out of the pocket and make things happen, and made some huge plays with his legs that people don't really talk about. He was committed to throwing the football and did so. Kyler Murray's like that in the NFL too. He loves to throw the ball, throw guys open, but man, is he a jitterbug, can get out of trouble and make plays if he has to.
Josh, that AFC Championship game when Burrow broke the sack from Chris Jones, I think it was, and got to the outside for the first down, they go down and score. You don't teach that, man. That's backyard determination. I want it more than you. And I think Jaden can do some of those things. It's going to be really interesting to see him Sunday do that. When Brian Kelly was announced, I'm really intrigued to hear your perspective of this, because he's the winningest coach in Notre Dame's history, but he gets a lot of flack for being just, the Brian Kelly that we see on TV or ESPN, but it seems like he's a lot different now. When you saw the hire and what you're seeing now, I guess, what are things that you've seen from Brian Kelly that you like?
I think game day management, play calling, consistency, attitude. Everybody's like, well, he kind of turned into a Southern boy, that first week and threw like this guy, but Saban came from Michigan State. He didn't change. And that's what I would say. Brian, don't change. Be yourself. You're going to win 10 games a year at LSU if you coach these cats up, because we got some cats now. And you said it off air or right before I got on air. You said, listen, we got dudes, right? I mean, we do have dudes, but they got to have discipline. They got to be coached right. It's like, we're only going to go as well as we're coached. We know that. We've seen years where we hadn't been coached. We've had coaches that aren't great coaches. Maybe they're a great D-line coach or a great motivator or a great recruiter or a great this and that. But when you put the package together, and we got a great offensive staff, and we get a great defensive staff with a head guy that knows what he's doing and can make game day decisions at the end of ball games, because a lot of these big SEC matchups are going to come down to one possession. Special teams matters. Everything matters. And that's why I think this guy's going to be a good coach, is because he understands how to win. He understands how to win. He's won more than anybody else in college football. Saban's won more championships, but this guy's got a ton of wins. And so I like him for LSU. We needed a guy like that can be a great game day coach and pay attention to the little things and see it, because there's a lot that goes on that the guys in the stands don't see, the girls in the stands don't see, the kids don't see, the student section don't see, but he will see it. He's done it. He's been there, and he's taken Notre Dame to some playoff games. He just hadn't had the horses to win it all because he ain't had the speed and the athleticism. We have that at LSU. Let's see what he can do with our bunch.
Josh, I thought what was interesting with us being at practice, you talk about the attention to detail. I remember there were multiple times during practice, there would be like, and this, just us being at practice or whatever. Look, you might have your wrist taped up and it might be coming off, and you might unwrap it and throw it down. And I've seen Brian Kelly multiple times stop practice, walk over there, pick it up, throw it in the trash. He goes, guys, it's that simple. It's like the small little itsy bitsy details. I'm like, oh, okay. So it's like this different, like he's not, and I was expecting him coming in, beat red, yelling. No. And him coaching every position. I've seen him coach wide receivers, tight ends, O-line, quarterback, D-line, literally everything. And that's something interesting. I'm ready to see the dynamic this Sunday. But I do want to transition, because we got a lot of great college football this weekend. I want to go out to Georgia. we do have a game this week in Georgia versus Oregon. I guess, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, are you excited to see Dan Lanning, the Fighting Kirby Smarts, to come back? What do you think about this game out here in Georgia?
And I just got off the phone about an hour ago with a couple of my buddies who played at Oregon, and they're super fired up. They think that defensively, Cristobal was good and he recruited well, but they didn't pay attention to the little things as much as they would have liked, and that was a little different than what I thought I was going to hear from them. They go, we think we're going to be better because Dan Lanning can recruit and he can coach that defense up like crazy. He's kind of a part of that Saban chain because it's come down from Kirby, right? Saban to Kirby, now to Lanning. So they're going to bring a different breed of excellence, they think, at Oregon. Now, do they have the horses to beat them early on in Dan Lanning's career at Oregon? They do have Justin Flo. They've got Noel Sewell at linebacker. They got some studs on the front. I don't know the back end. If Stetson can get in good situations where he's got some shot capability, say 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, that's a different type of deal. If Oregon can shut their run down, then Stetson's, he doesn't have the play action. He's not in the driver's seat. I think that's where Oregon's got to get to, is to where Stetson Bennett's in 3rd and long several times in the ball game in key situations. If they can't do that, and Georgia has their way running the football, then now everything opens up. And then Lanning is going to be kind of coaching on his heels, because, Georgia's going to have some playmakers on the outside. So
no doubt.
I think that's the whole game is going to come down to, can Oregon shut them down on 1st, 2nd down just enough to make Stetson Bennett have some long down and distance situations on 3rd down. If he can't do it, Georgia rolls this game up. It might be a 37-14 game. I think Oregon's got to stay close, make sure 1st, 2nd down doesn't get out of hand on defense. They shut the run down, and now Stetson's got to do something in the air. And now it could get interesting because Georgia doesn't have a lot of experience on the outside. They lost some receivers. They lost the kid to Bama. They lost Pickens to the draft. And then now they've got a defense where 9 guys are new on defense. So, Oregon might hang around a little bit. Bo Nix is a little bit experienced. It'll be fun to see if Oregon can hang around the first half.
I lied. 2 more, and then I'm going to get to your stuff because we do have some fan questions firing in here. What is your thoughts on Stetson Bennett as a quarterback? Because I got to be honest, I get ripped a lot, okay? Look, I feel as if, Josh, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, you could just be a really damn good college quarterback. You don't have to be an NFL prospect. You could just be a really damn – and he is. He makes all the right decisions, all the right throws. What's your thoughts, though, on Stetson Bennett?
I saw him play several games last year live. I like the kid because he's a competitive kid. He's been around. He's done the deal. He's gone from, not getting a scholarship to being the guy, the national championship. I think about a guy named Matt Mock, who was more talented than Stetson Bennett. Now, Matt Mock's a good friend of mine, and he was in our quarterback room when we had Rohan Davey and Craig Nall and Marcus Randall. He was one of the 5, and he played in the NFL. He was drafted by Denver. He's a great kid, one of the smartest kids I ever know. But he didn't turn the ball over. He ran when he needed to. He made good decisions. He was perfect in a system like Saban's and Jimbo's, at LSU. And I think that's what I think of when I think about Stetson Bennett. Is he's a consummate professional, athletic enough at that level. I don't think he's an NFL quarterback. He can't throw a quick out route on time in the feed out or skinny post. He's not going to be able to do it. But at Georgia, with that run game, with that front offensive line, when they can get going, all you got to do is just divvy the ball up a little bit to the outsides and then see what happens. And that's what happened last year. They were so strong all over the field that he was able to manage the deal. And we've seen quarterbacks like Jay Barker at Alabama, awesome guy, won the title in the late 80s, but it was just because, they had a run game, everything, worked perfect for him. And I think that's what happened with Stetson. He's not an NFL guy, but he's a heck of a college player.
He's easy to root for. He's just an easy guy to root for. All right, I'm going through all these, and so I'm just going to ask probably the main one. Josh, what are your thoughts on Saban and Jimbo going after it about NIL?
Well, matchup this year in Tuscaloosa when A&M goes into Tuscaloosa. But, the NIL deal is so different than what we've ever experienced, and the transfer portal so different than anything we've ever experienced. It's like we see 2,000 kids in the portal. We see, Lane Kiffin coming out and said, if I'm Bryce Young, I'm testing my market. That's crazy stuff when you're talking about a high Trophy guy coming back, could be only the second Heisman Trophy winner to win back-to-back Heisman. Archie Griffin's only got to do it. And I'm like, but that statement's so true that he could have tested the market. Michigan could have given him 10 million. Texas could have given him 10 million. SC maybe. I mean, they were solidified with their quarterback rooms, but in a situation down the road, you might see something like that happen one day in this day and age. And so I don't really like it because I like loyalty to a program. I think these kids need to pay their dues. I don't like anything given to anybody too early. I mean, I've seen it in baseball because I was a first rounder. You know, I got some money and I'm like, you know what? I'm thinking football in the back of my mind, and I wasn't really sunk into the baseball for life. And I'm like, you know what? My heart was split. And these kids getting a little money, they might get a nice automobile. You know, I could see where, you know, it could go left. It could go a little different than how it was supposed to go. And so I think that it's tough on these kids, man, when you're 19 and you're in Austin, Texas, and you got $1 million, $2 million, $3 million bucks. I mean, you can run the roads a little bit. Think about it. You know, it's not Norman, Oklahoma, where there ain't no roads. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, it's not like when you cross that Arkansas border and banjos start playing. You know what I mean? But they got a lot of money. I understand that.
You ain't got the bright lights no more, man. So I mean, I think there's several places like LA, like Austin, Texas, like the University of Miami, where the bright lights can get you, boy, if you ain't watching it. And then they got all the money in their pocket. So I don't like a lot of the NIL stuff. I like small deals for these kids.
Yeah, look, we have a pair, but it's them coming on here to promote them. You know, like it's not
exactly. We got an app we're launching. I know we're going to talk about it, but
let's talk about it now. Let's talk about it now, Josh. So where are you? Where are you right now? What are you guys doing? Tell us about the app and everything you got going on.
Yeah, we're based out of Miami. We're, the bright lights, right? I mean, we're trying to get to the bright lights, baby. No, we're launching an app this Friday, the VIP version. It's been a year and a half in the making. It's called Boola. Bula means wishing you luck or life. We're a peer-to-peer challenge, dare, wager your friends on the blockchain for everybody to see. So it's social challenge app. It's never been done before. We're not Barstool. We're not MGM. We're not a sports book. We're blank canvas. I bet you can't get the girl's number at the bar. I bet you LSU wins by highway robbery, bro. LSU -3 is highway robbery this week. LSU should be -10. I'm telling you. But I think it's an app where you can go on, make life fun, exciting. It's peer-to-peer gambling is what it is. Everyday gambling, blank canvas. It is. We're not giving out any lines. You can bet and challenge your friends to anything. Could be, let's go run a mile right now. Let's go run a 40-yard dash in the parking lot right now.
Hey, obviously I know that me and you had talked about the app a while back. Yep. I download and I get on it and I'm thinking to myself, like, I want to challenge somebody to like an arm wrestling competition. You know, like I want to get, this is my thing. I wanted to do an AYS Tiger Cat drill, you know, like let's bet this, let's do this, you know, but it's really fun. So tell them again, Josh, where they can get the app. Obviously anywhere you get the app, and it's Bula, correct?
Bula, which means wishing you luck or life. It's a Fijian term. We got a little island character. You see my guy right here on my hat. Warrior Koa is his name. But we've thought this thing through. Like you said, I talked to you a year ago and we were talking about it then. I mean, we've raised a lot of money. We've done a lot of cool things. We're doing a college marketing campaign, but it's bulachallenge.com. But Friday it'll be on the App Store for Apple, iPhone store. So you can go and download Bula on the iPhone store and Android. So it's going to be fun to have it out there for us. To grow this thing socially. And we're doing this huge marketing campaign. We will be in Baton Rouge at Fred's Bar October 21st for the Ole Miss week. So be there or be square, brother. Bula's coming to Baton Rouge. We're doing 4 events. We're doing this week, Oregon, Georgia, and Buckhead, Atlanta for the Kickoff Classic. We're going to be Texas, Bama, Texas next week in Austin.
Oh, that's going to be an ass kicking, but that's going to be fun.
I think Bama's going to get after me.
They're going with that ass.
Awesome. In Tuscaloosa, 4 a.m. You called the game, Jimbo versus Saban. Then we're going to be Kiffin versus Brian Kelly at Fred's Bar that weekend, October 21st. So Boola will be in Baton Rouge for one of our first 4 events.
I'll be there.
Awesome, man. I can't wait to have you. So you come see me as soon as you get there, before you get there, and we'll hook you up.
Absolutely. The only thing I ask, I want that hat, man. I'm a hat fiend, man. I got to get a hat, brother.
I got some good ones, man. We got all different styles. This is the silver. This is the silver. We got black. We got all kinds of swag, baby, for you.
You're speaking my language now, Josh, but it's always fantastic to see you. We will see you in October for that game. So it's going to be really fun, man. We'll see you soon, and we'll promote it for you. We'll be pushing out there because you have my word. I'll be there.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it, man.
Thanks. All right, thank you, brother. We'll talk soon. That's our good friend Josh Booty, former LSU quarterback. I'm going to be there. Pooh Bear, you coming? Zach, you coming? Why is everybody just – come on, man. I'm going to be there. It's going to be fun. All right, let's do this. Let's pay these bills. We're going to bring the producers up, and then we're going to round it up. We're going to end the show. But let me tell you about our good friends over at Fry Construction, fryconstruction.com. Guys, literally everything that you need, you go over them today. Site work and land development, oil and gas services, commercial construction, aggregate and soil hauling, waste containers, demolition, they do it all. Go see them at 161 West Maple Street. That's 161 West Maple Street in Eunice, Louisiana, or give them a call at 337-457-5100, 337-457-5100, and that way they know that your good friend Blake Ruffino, or let them know that your good friend Blake Ruffino sent you on by. All right, let's talk about our good friend Carol Foss. We'll wrap up the show with the producers. Be back in 45 seconds. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Foss and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Foss has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements. All right, we're here with the producers. Guys, you're not coming? You don't want to come all the way down? LSU Ole Miss?
Hey, it's Ole Miss, so maybe.
That actually might be closer for me.
Yeah, it'd be closer for you. It'd be a good time, man. It's going to be really fun. Okay, so it appears as if anyway, we do have some breaking news. They're just announcing the quarterbacks. They're announcing the team captain. So it is Ali Gay, Mike Jones Jr., and B.J. Ojulari. Guys, as this gets so much closer, and I know that we talked about this a lot, anything else coming to mind? I know that we've been preparing this day for a long time, right? But it's kind of like the week of Christmas, right? Like the week of Christmas is what I feel like this week's like. Anything else that you guys want to add on, or you're seeing when you watch Florida State or LSU or anything like that?
This guy in this jet setter is killing me.
Is that the guy that's ruining the chat?
Pretty much.
All right.
Florida State sucks.
Yeah. What about you? I mean, that's a pretty profound word. Pooh Bear, you should make the shirt. FSU sucks.
Or in the words of Chris, they ass.
Right. I gotta say something. I hate when people do that.
Yeah.
I do, Pooh. I just, they're not ass. So here's an example. Duquesne's not ass. They're ass compared to an FBS school. Okay. Right. So they're going to go to the FCS playoff and they're going to lose. Okay. Look, they did some things. Okay. I mean, so we'll see. But I hate when people say that. What about you, Zach? Zach, you're getting a lot of traction on this little hype video. I got a lot of people hit me up, saying that, oh, it's good, but it's only good because Blake's voice and Pooh Bear was in there. What do you think?
Yeah, of course. Got to give y'all a shout out for joining. But you mentioned this on the show. You just want to see a dog in them. I do too. Like I just want to see a team that comes out and they are absolutely fired up, and they just want to get a win. Like I want to see a team that has put everything from the past 2 years in the past and they just come out blazing. And if they do, I mean, it's going to make it even much more of a greater experience for them, for the coaching staff and the fans as well. So that's what I want to see.
Yeah, look, I just want them to have the dog back, man. Like, I feel like the last 2 seasons we've had the talent, but I want to, I just want the dude like a LaRon Landry to run up there and just like, hey, like stick his head out, like go full head, go Daniel on him. That's what I call it. Go full Daniel, go full forehead. Hey, that's what I want to see.
First off, pause.
I couldn't even get it out, but
that's what she said.
Oh boy,
is this how we're gonna?
Hey, this man said there's no kicking me.
Oh my God!
We can
okay. Well, there's no kicking me. I mean, yeah, we can. Guys, you want to kick him? Put him in timeout. Just put him in timeout. He hasn't gotten to the Rico Delgado thing. The Rico Delgado.
That might be Rico.
It might be. It might be. I don't know who this is. Is this Jay Seta? Okay, well, yeah. Jay Seta, you probably live in your mom's basement. You probably ain't getting no women. Like you probably got a lot of zits on your face.
Right now that he's commenting down here.
No,
I don't know.
But I'll say, to get back on track.
It was my fault. It was my
fault. No. It's so if I'm being realistic, I think this game will be in an ideal world, LSU world. This game is close to first quarter, and then LSU dominates.
Don't look
it's
at me.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Who is that? All right. Who's that on the bottom? You said it earlier. Who's that down there? Say it louder. Tebow. Exactly. It's Tebow. The best thing is in pre-production meetings, I said, who is that? He goes, Tebow. You watch Daddy's show? You watching Daddy's show when you're taking a bath? Yeah. I hear you. Okay. Well, guys, we're going to go ahead and get out of there. Thanks to our good friend Josh Booty. I'm going to be there for the Ole Miss game. Fred's shaking my tail feather before I have my second child. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'll let you know that right now. All right, guys. We'll see y'all soon. Y'all have a good night. Peace out, Girl Scouts.